Hello. In this video, I want to go through all of the cards that I would include if I was going to build a Sokka Tenuous Tactician ally base. I want to make allies. I want to cast non-creature spells that support those allies. And then I want to play creature allies that are particularly good with the 1/1 allies that I'm making. So first, I have a Crumb Battle Scener for 1 and a red. It's a 1/1 with haste. When it or another ally enters under your control, you may have ally creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. This is able to buff all of our ally tokens that we're making from casting non-creature spells, and those allies also having Prowess and Menace is going to increase their power quickly, which makes them able to trade with multiple of our opponent's creatures, because they have to block with that Menace. Akrama's Will is white 3 for instant. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast this spell, you may choose both. Creatures you control gain Flying, Vigilance, and Dub Strike, and or creatures you control gain Lifelink, Indestructible, and Protection from all colors on end of turn. If you're playing a combat-based deck, especially when the rewards non-creature spells, this is a great card. Allied Teamwork, when it enters, it makes a 1/1. And then, of course, you get a 1/1 from casting its non-creature spell, and it buffs all of your allies +1/+1. An offer you can't refuse. Of course, you can still cast non-creature spells as instants on your opponent's turn, which introduces more blockers, or you can counter non-creature spells for very cheap. This controller makes 2 treasures. Arcane Denial, 1 and a blue for an instant. Same thing, you can counter something, create an ally, buffs all of your prowess things. Great thing. Arcane Signet. These ramp pieces in our deck are better than just normal ramp pieces because they are non-creature spells which trigger our allies with our prowess and making of 1/1s. Archmage Emeritus. Blue 2 for a 2/2 mage craft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. This can help you, chain into multiple of your non-creature spells. Bender's Waterskin helps us cast instants by untapping each other player's untapped step and adding mana of any color, so any of our 3 colors. Blasphemous Act kills all creatures. It's going to kill ours, but we're going to play board wipes anyway. And the amount of allies I think we're going to be able to have in play, we're going to reduce this spell by 4 or 5 pretty easily. So it's going to be very cheap. And then, if all of your opponents control 1 or 2 creatures, this spell is just 1 red. It's super fast. Boros Char, red 1, red white for instant. Choose 1. It deals 4 damage to our creature to target player or planeswalker. Permanents you control gain indestructible, or target creature gains double strike until end of turn. I think the majority of the time you're going to want to get your permanent indestructible with this card in this deck, but I also think having Sokka be like a 5/5 or a 6/6 menace prowess, giving that double strike is going to be fantastic. Probably possibly even finish off a player. Brainstorm is 1 blue for instant, draw 3, then put 2 cards from your hand, top your library in any order. This is better for playing fetch lands, evolving wilds, cityscape, landscape, Terramorphic Expanse, cards shuffle our library, but just for 1 blue to also make an ally on top of this effect is great. Consider 1 blue, surveil 1, draw a card, make an ally, super good. Counterspell, yep. Crash Sphere, creatures you control gain trample, and then draw a card. All of these cards that are just 1 mana, they're a non-creature spell, they make a 1/1, and they draw you a card, and you get some kind of other effect. Giving trample to all your 3/3s, let's say they're 1/1s, you cast 2 spells, now they're 3/3s, is what I'm trying to say. 3/3s on trample. That's going to do a couple of a couple 1 or 2 pointers over, and that can help you win the game towards the end. Is when you're at 5 life and your opponent's at 10 life, if you had dealt them a couple more pieces of trample damage, the game would be a lot closer in your favor. Dovin's Veto can't be countered. Counters target non-creature spell. Expedite gives something haste. Our commander doesn't have haste. Giving our commander haste would be great. Drawing a card. Faithless Looting. Draw 2, discard 2. Flashback. So you have access to more non-creature spells than just what's in your hand. Fellwar Stone. You're playing a 3-color deck. I think Fellwar Stone and Exotic Orchard are 2 cards that are underplayed. Tap, add 1 mana of any color a land an opponent controls could produce. The chances of you not playing against a blue, red, or white opponent are very slim. The chances of you not playing against a player that's blue and another player that's white are also very slim. So now for 2 colorless, this is immediately tapping for 1 of the colors in your commander's color identity. Flawless Maneuver, you're going to have your commander the majority of the time. If the deck's going well, is what I mean. As you control your commander, you may cast a spell without paying mana cost, and it gives creatures you control indestructible. Frantic Search, draw 2, discard on top of the 3 lands. Great card selection, great untapping to be able to go into more non-creature spells. Frost Cliff Siege, 1 blue, red. When it enters, choose Jeskai or Teamer. Jeskai, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Teamer, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample and haste. I think this is really dependent on the game that you're playing. I think both sides of this card are really good in this deck. I think having a bunch of 1/1s that have trample and haste and prowess and menace is very strong. But at the same time, those tokens being able to attack a bunch of different players, 3 of your opponents, and, trading off some tokens that should draw 3 cards is fantastic, 1 for each player. So, honestly, I think it depends on the game you're playing. Generous Gift, destroy target permanent, its controller creates 3/3. Is Generous Gift really the card you want to be playing? I don't know. I think it's decent. But you have access to red, you have access to white, you can destroy enchantments, artifacts, creatures, lots of things. But yeah, it's good. 1 target removal. Gitaxian Probe, 1 blue or 2 life. Let the target player's hand draw a card. This is one of those, wheeling and dealing. You cast it for 2 life. You make an ally, you draw a card. Fantastic. I would trade 2 life for a 1/1 with Prowess all the time. Hakoda, Selfless Commander. White 3 for a 3/5 vigilance. You may look the top card of your library at any time. You may cast ally spells from the top. And you can sacrifice it to creature you control +0/+5 and indestructible. The nice thing I think here is that ability to sacrifice and give creatures you control destructible. But at the same time, it's an ally. But also, looking at the top card of your library is good whenever you're trying to decide if you want to cast something that just said draw a card on it. Hero of Gomafada. This card is fantastic in this deck. It's one of the strongest allies pre-Avatar. White 4/4/3 rally. Whenever it or another ally enters under your control, creature you control get indestructible. So if anyone tries to remove any of your allies, you just cast one of your 1-drop instants, 1 blue instants that draw a card and do something. That's an armed creature spell. It makes a 1/1. Oh, ally entered, everything gets indestructible. And then if they respond to that trigger, you can probably do it again if you have a map open. So Hero of Gomafada is one of the strongest cards in this deck. Impact Tremors is another good card. Whenever a creature you control enters, this enchantment deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's good when you make a bunch of 1/1, and it's a non-creature spell itself. Is it Signet or the non-creature spell itself? Just because Jeskai Ascendancy, 1 white, 1 red, and 1 blue. For enchantment, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1, so on a turn, untap those creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. This is going to be how you chain into multiple things, and if you have some creatures that tap for mana in the deck, you could probably try to go infinite with it, but I'm not focused on that in this deck. It's just a good non-creature spell that gives all of our creatures another instance of prowess, untaps them if it's post-combat, untaps them at instant speed to be blockers, and then cycling into drawing at this point, so it's great. Kabira Evangel, 1 white and 2 for a 2/3. When it or another ally enters under your control, you may choose a color. When allies you control gain protection of the chosen color, so let a turn. Another good one, you respond to them attacking you, give protection from green, and block all their features. Katara, Water, Tried, Hope. 2 white, blue for 3/3 vigilance. When it enters, make a 1/1 ally. Waterbend, creatures you control have pace, power, and toughness XX until end of turn, where XX can't be 0. No, this is in one of those, there's the Changeling card that does this, but it's a way to make all of our 1/1 allies much, much bigger. It also brings in another ally with it. Because Dual Warlord, whenever it or another ally enters under your control, you may put a plus count on each ally creature you control. Another great card in this deck, Kindred Discovery. 3 blue. When it enters, choose a creature type or choose ally. Whenever a creature of the chosen type enters, Spore attacks, draw a card, you're going to draw a lot of cards off this card in this deck. Lantern Scout gives all allies lifelink. Fantastic. Menace, Prowess, lifelink. Super good combo. Lightning Bolt, 3 damage, 1 mana. Makes a 1/1. Lightning Grease can give our commander haste and shrouds. We can get them protection on it, but also give haste to our other allies, and it's a 9-creature spell itself. So really this, if you just have Sokka in play, you can play Lightning Grease, make a 1/1, and immediately attach this to it. Pretty good. Monastery Mentor, Prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, make a 1/1 creature Prowess. This is going to be good in this deck, but it's also going to be confusing in this deck, because you have to keep track of how many are allies, how many are monks. Everything has prowess, so how many individual parts of prowess has this one's seen 3, this one's seen 2. It's going to get chaotic, but super fun. Narset, Enlightened Exile, 1 blue, red, white for a 3/4 creature control of prowess. Multiple instances of prowess mean they trigger multiple times. Whenever it attacks, exile target non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value less than its card from a graveyard and copy it. You may cast that spell without paying its mana cost. And that's from anyone's graveyard. Undo Cleric. Whenever it or another ally enters under your control, you may gain life equal to the number of allies you control. Another good card in the set, especially if you're playing in bracket 2 or 3. Being able to gain 5 life, 6 life, 7 life in a single turn from having your 5th, 6th, and 7th ally enter from cast and non-creature spells is very strong. Opt, scry 1, draw a card, cast exile, exile something, they get a basic land. These are both instants, 1 mana. Ponder, same thing. Preordained, same thing. These are all 1 in mana. The first 2 are instants, these 2 are sorceries. But you can use these to respond. You can use these just to filter the cards you draw, but just get more allies. Raise the Palisade for 4 and a blue, choose a creature type. Return all creatures that aren't of that type to their owner's hands. keeps everything but allies in play. Redirect lightning, it's only 1 rem, it's an instant. As you cast, as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may pay 5 life or pay 2. Change the target of target spell or ability to with a single target. This is good for instant speed reactions to protect something. Resolute Blade Master. Whenever it or another ally enters under your control, creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn. Double striking, menacing, prowess creatures are going to deal a lot of damage. Roaming Throne. You choose ally. Trigger abilities of allies you control, triggering additional time. I believe Prowess is a triggered ability whenever you cast. Yep, Prowess is a triggered ability that would trigger twice. And then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, make a 1/1. That's a triggered ability that would also happen twice. Seagate Lore Master. Tap to draw a card for each ally you control. It's going to draw you a lot of cards. Skull Clamp, +1/-1. Whenever your creature feature dies, draw 2 cards. You can trade off your 1/1 Hell Eyes before they see Prowess triggers to Skull Clamp and draw 2 cards off of them, which is nice. Snapped. Return target creature to its owner's hand, untap 2 lands. So that you keep the cycle going. Sokka's Charge. For in a white, during your turn, allies you control have Double Strike and Lifelink. Double Strike, Lifelink, Menace, Prowess is going to, again, I keep saying it's going to be insane. Soul Ring is better than just a normal Soul Ring in this deck. Now, our commander only cost 1 colorless, which is a little unfortunate, but Soul Ring is so good because it's a non-creature spot for only 1 mana. South Pole Voyager. White in a 1 for a 2/2. Whenever this or another ally enters, you gain 1 life. If it's the second time, draw a card. To always gain the life, but only on the second time do you draw a card. Stormkiln Artist. It gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. All of our mana ramp and plus some of our treasures. And whenever we cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, which we're going to do a lot of, create a treasure. Swiftfoot Boots, same thing. Hexgrave and Haste. Protect our commander or give any of our tokens haste. Swords to Plowshares. 1 mana. React to something. Make an ally. Give them indestructible. Give them protection from your color. Good card. Talisman. They're untapped sources of mana that are non-creature spells, so they make a 1/1 in this deck. Tuk Scrapper. 3 in a red for a 2/2. A lot of words. Whenever it or another ally enters under your control, you may destroy target artifact. If that artifact is put into your graveyard this way, it deals damage to that artifact's controller equal to the number of allies you control. There's a lot of artifacts in Commander. They're going to be playing equipment. Your opponents are going to be able to play mana ramp of their own, artifact lands, artifact creatures. I'm thinking value artifacts. Think about your Whip of Erebos, all of your artifacts all of your spells are artifacts. I'm thinking about all of those cards you can destroy, and you're going to have 3, 4, 5 allies, and this thing's just going to hit 4 life. Great. United Front X, white for a sorcery. Create X, 1/1 white ally creature tokens, and put a ++ counter creature control. You can tap a bunch of mana, make a bunch of allies. And then Sokka doesn't make allies with prowess. She gives allies prowess, so all of those would have prowess and menace. And then you can put a counter on each creature control. I think this card is a great cube card because even if you pump 0 into it, it still puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So remember that when you're playing, you can just pay 0 and put a +1/+1 counter on everything, trigger all your non-creature stuff. Vandalblast destroys 1 artifact or destroys all artifacts. Veyron, Voice of Duality. 1, a blue, and a red for a 2/2 with Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+1. So it has stronger prowess. If casting or copying an instant or sorcery spell will cause a triggered ability permanently pull trigger, it triggers at additional time. So all of your prowess triggers or casting of non-creature spells, if it's from an instant or sorcery, you get more allies, more prowess triggers. I remember the map Wizards of the Coast talking after they made Dragons of Tarkir back in the day. They wished the prowess didn't trigger off artifacts of enchantments. It wasn't so flavorful, and Magecraft is a way to do that. So Magecraft isn't really super prowess, it's just different prowess. If it's instant or sorcery, you also get a trigger for copying it. But prowess is stronger, in my opinion, because you also get access to artifacts, enchantments, and planeswalkers hand battles. War Leader's Call. 1 red or white. Creature you control the +1/+1. Whenever a creature enters under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Good card. Buff all your allies. It makes an ally because it's a non-creature spell, and it also is an impact tremors effect. Whirlwind of Thought. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. It's also a non-creature spell itself. Those are all the cards that I would include if I was going to build a Sokka Tenacious Tactician commander deck focused on allies and non-creature spells. This commander feels very, very strong. If there are cards that I did not include that you would include, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and may your top decks be ever in your favor. Thank you.